Situate inundated overnight by rising waters. The coast was battered by these massive waves leading to a flood of trouble.
And while the flood warnings are over, the coastal concerns are not. 7's Janet Wu is live in Situate this morning with all the details. Better now, Janet, but boy, they took a beating last night.
Well, let me tell you, look at the conditions right now. The rain has kicked up again and so have the winds. It's feeling raw right now, that word that JR just used. But let's take a look at what's happened overnight. Definitely there were a lot of concerns when the high tides were coming in. Let's take a look at what they left. Cars were submerged in some places as waves swamped the roads, water coming in over and through the seawalls. We saw a truck that sustained some pretty bad damage. Several areas had moderate flooding from the storm surges. We saw that moderate damage all along the eastern coast of Massachusetts, both the north and south shores. Good news, no reports of any major damage to the homes or roadways, but the water was still a problem for drivers and residents.
Just get a concept of it. The floats are actually above the breakwall, the seawall there. So what you're seeing is the bottom of the floats actually at the water level, and so the water is just free flowing right up over into the harbor.
Everything gets stacked up here in the harbor, so it's the docks, the boats, everything's taking a pretty good beating here.
Another look at what had to be done this morning. The cleanup has begun. Bulldozers brought in to clear out the rocks and other debris that landed in the parking lot. Just so much to clean up. And let's take a look at some of the debris that was left behind. Here is a lobster chop. We've seen a bunch of those just pushed ashore by the waves last night. Now back to Me Live. Now it does appear that the worst of all this is over. The tide is just now coming in again. The next high tide is supposed to be here around noon through 1 o'clock, but not expected to be as bad as last night. But again, we will be here to watch and see what happens. Reporting live from Situate, Janet Wu, 7 News Today, New England.